Listen to me. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care who left you. I don't care what they said about you. Hear me loud and clear. You are unbreakable. I know some of you walked in here carrying weight so heavy you almost didn't show up. Some of you have been knocked down so many times you're starting to believe you can't get back up. But I came to tell you today, if you're still breathing, if you're still here, then it's not over. They tried to break you, but they failed. Life tried to break you, but you're still standing. See, people will try to label you. Life will try to limit you. Pain will try to silence you. But the only way you get broken is if you give up your power. And I need you to understand this, the fact that you survived everything you thought would destroy you. That's the proof that nobody can break you. So don't just sit there listening like this is another speech, like this is another video, like this is another moment to pass the time. No, this is your wake up call. This is your reminder that your story isn't finished, your fight isn't over, and your best days are not behind you. If you lock in, if you give me everything for the next few minutes, I promise you'll walk away knowing one thing deep in your soul. Nobody, Craig, your value is not determined by what you're going through. Let me say that again so it hits deep. Your value is not determined by your circumstances. Too many of you have been measuring yourself by the losses in your life, by the people who walked away, by the mistakes you've made, by the doors that shut in your face. You've been walking around like you're broken, like you're less than, because life hasn't been fair to you. Not critics, but let me tell you something. Gold doesn't lose its value when it gets buried in the dirt. Diamonds don't stop being diamonds just because they've been crushed under pressure. And you don't stop being valuable just because you've been through some storms. Life is going to test you. It's going to push you. It's going to throw seasons at you where nothing seems to be working. And in those moments, the temptation is to believe the lie that says, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't deserve better. Maybe this is all I'll ever be. But that's the trick. That's the trap. Because if you start believing your worth is tied to your circumstances, you'll settle for less than what you were created for. Or look, the car doesn't stop being expensive just because it got parked in the wrong neighborhood. The house doesn't stop being worth millions just because the lights are off for a season. And you don't stop being valuable just because you're going through a valley. I need you to hear me. Your circumstances are temporary, but your worth is permanent. What you're facing is changing, shifting, moving. But who you are at your core, what's inside of you, that doesn't change. Some of you have been walking around ashamed of your past, carrying the weight of your failures like it's a label you can't take off. And you let people point at you, define you, and tell you what you're worth based on where you've been. But the truth is, the fact that you're still here means you're undefeated. You didn't quit. You didn't let that situation finish you. You're sitting here with scars, with stories, with pain. And that pain is not proof that you're weak. That pain is proof that you've survived. And here's the thing. People will judge you based on what they see, but they don't know what you've overcome just to stand where you're standing right now. They don't know the nights you cried yourself to sleep, the mornings you thought about giving up, but still got up anyway. They don't know how many times life tried to take you out, but you kept showing up. And that's why I'm telling you, nobody can break you, because you've already been through enough to prove your value is bigger than your struggle. Stop letting your bank account determine your worth. Stop letting other people's opinions determine your worth. Stop letting your current season determine your worth. The storm does not change who you are. The failure does not change who you are. The rejection does not change who you are. The only thing that changes your worth is if you stop believing in yourself, if you hand over your power, if you let the world convince you that you're less than. I need you to start seeing yourself differently. I need you to wake up and look in the mirror and stop seeing somebody who's broken and start seeing somebody who's unbreakable. You've got to remind yourself every single day that your value comes from what's inside of you, not what's happening around you. People may have left you, but they didn't take your value with them. Doors may have closed, but they didn't lock away your purpose. You may have fallen, but falling doesn't mean you're finished. Listen, every time life knocks you down, it's not proof that you're weak. It's proof that you've got something worth fighting for. If you weren't valuable, life wouldn't try so hard to break you. If you weren't carrying something powerful, you wouldn't face so much resistance. The fact that you've been under attack is evidence that you're carrying weight, that you're carrying greatness, that you're carrying something the world needs. That's why you can't quit. That's why you can't give up, because your value is not in the struggle. It's in the strength you've built from it. And I know some of you feel like you've lost too much to still matter, but let me flip that for you. Maybe what you lost wasn't meant to define you, not critics. Maybe what walked away wasn't supposed to stay. Maybe what closed wasn't supposed to be your door in the first place. Sometimes losing is the best thing that can happen to you because it forces you to discover that your worth was never in that thing anyway. Your worth was never in that relationship, never in that job, never in that approval. Your worth was always in who you are and what you carry inside of you. You've got to start talking to yourself differently. Instead of saying, I'm broken, start saying, I'm unshakable. Instead of saying, I'm not enough, start saying, I'm more than enough. Instead of saying, it's over, start saying, this is just the beginning, because the words you speak about yourself determine the way you see yourself. And the way you see yourself determines the way you fight for yourself. Think about it. Nobody questions the value of the sun when it's covered by clouds. Nobody questions the value of a seed when it's buried in the dirt. The sun is still shining. The seed is still growing, even when you can't see it. And just because you're in a season where you can't see your breakthrough doesn't mean it's not coming. Just because life looks dark doesn't mean your light has gone out. You are still valuable, still powerful, still destined for more, no matter what it looks like right now. I need you to hold on to that, because the moment you realize your worth is not determined by your circumstances is the moment you become unstoppable. The moment you stop letting life tell you who you are and start telling life who you are. That's the moment nothing can break you. They can take the job, but they can't take your work ethic. They can take the relationship, but they can't take your capacity to love. They can take your resources, but they can't take your resilience. That's why you're still here. That's why you've made it through things that should have destroyed you. Because deep down, even when you didn't realize it, there's a strength in you that circumstances can't touch. And if you'll embrace that truth, if you'll live like your worth is untouchable, you'll discover that nobody, not people, not pain, not failure, not life itself. Nobody can break you. Pain is not here to punish you. Pain is here to reveal you. I know that doesn't sound right when you're in the middle of it, but listen to me. Pain is proof that you are still alive, still standing, still capable of more than you think you are. The very fact that you've been through pain and you're still here is evidence that there's a strength inside of you that nothing can destroy. People look at pain like it's the enemy, but the truth is pain is the very thing that forges your power. Think about it. Every time you've grown, every time you've leveled up, every time you became stronger, it didn't come through comfort. It came through pain. Pain stretched you. Pain tested you. Pain demanded more from you than you thought you had to give. And when you came out of it, you realized you had more fight, more resilience, more courage than you ever imagined. That's why I'm telling you, your pain is not your weakness. Your pain is your receipt. It's proof of purchase that says, I survived, I endured, I refused to quit. Some of you are running from pain like it's a monster, but the truth is it's your mentor. Pain teaches you who you really are. Pain strips away the fake, the comfort, the lies, and shows you what you're really made of. Anybody can smile when life is good. Anybody can clap when the sun is shining. But pain reveals who can still sing when it's dark. Pain reveals who can keep walking when their legs are shaking. Pain reveals who can keep believing when everything looks impossible. That's the strength nobody can take from you. Listen, the world doesn't respect people who quit when it hurts. The world doesn't remember people who fold when life gets tough. The world remembers the ones who used pain as fuel. The ones who took the very thing that was supposed to break them and turned it into the reason they kept going. And I'm telling you right now, the scars you carry are not signs of defeat. They are signs of victory. Every scar says, I've been through something, but it didn't take me out. See, we live in a world where people want to skip the process. They want the blessing without the breaking, the crown without the cross, the glory without the grind. But you can't have real power without pain, because it's pain that humbles you. It's pain that prepares you. It's pain that gives you compassion for others. It's pain that keeps you grounded. And it's pain that makes you dangerous. Because when you've been through enough pain, you stop fearing it. You stop being intimidated by it. You stop letting it control you. Some of you think pain is as a sign that you're going in the wrong direction, but often it's the opposite. Pain is the signal that you're pushing against resistance, that you're stretching into new territory, that you're demanding more from life. If you're not facing any pain, it might mean you're staying too comfortable. But when you're chasing purpose, when you're chasing growth, when you're chasing destiny, pain shows up to test if you're serious. And the fact that you've endured pain means you've passed the test again and again. Don't despise your pain. Don't hide from it. Don't pretend it's not there. Lean into it. Learn from it. Let it shape you. Because the truth is, the deepest pain always births the greatest strength. The people who've been through the most usually have the most to give. The people who've been broken the hardest usually carry the deepest wisdom. The people who've cried the longest usually carry the strongest empathy. That's why you can't let pain make you bitter. You've got to let it make you better. I know some of you are carrying wounds that still bleed. Some of you have pain so deep you don't even talk about it because you're afraid nobody will understand. But let me tell you something. That pain is not the end of your story. That pain is the beginning of your testimony. The very thing you think disqualifies you is the thing that makes you unstoppable. Because when you've been through pain, when you've endured nights of loneliness, days of doubt, seasons of struggle, you come out with a fire inside that no amount of comfort could ever give you. Don't waste your pain. Too many people waste it. They go through something hard and all they do is complain. They sit in it, they marinate in it, and they let it define them. But the ones who win, the ones who rise, are the ones who take their pain and turn it into power. They say, this hurt me, but it won't hold me. This broke me, but it didn't finish me. This cut me, but I'm still moving. That mindset turns pain into a weapon instead of a wound. And I need you to understand, pain is universal, but what you do with it determines who you become. Everybody gets hurt, but not everybody grows. Everybody gets knocked down, but not everybody rises. Everybody feels broken at some point, but not everybody realizes they're unbreakable. What separates the great from the average, the resilient from the fragile, the powerful from the powerless, is what you choose to do with the pain. So stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? Stop focusing on what you lost and start focusing on what you gained. Stop replaying the hurt and start rewriting the future. Because the truth is, every time you push through pain, you level up. Every time you refuse to quit, you add weight to your spirit. Every time you endure, you multiply your strength. And the more pain you've survived, the more unstoppable you become. Listen to me. Don't curse your pain. Thank it. Thank it for showing you that you can take more than you thought. Thank it for revealing people's true colors. Thank it for sharpening your vision. Thank it for teaching you lessons comfort could never teach. And most of all, thank it for proving to you that no matter how hard it hit, you didn't break. You bent, but you didn't break. You cried, but you didn't quit. You stumbled, but you kept moving. And that's why you're powerful. You want to know what real strength is? Real strength is not walking through life untouched. Real strength is walking through fire and coming out with your head held high. Real strength is having every reason to give up and finding one reason to keep going. Real strength is being broken and deciding to rebuild yourself stronger. That's why pain is proof of your power. Because every single time it came to destroy you, you made a decision. I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still fighting. And if you're still here after everything you've been through, then you are living proof that pain cannot break you. Resilience doesn't come from comfort. It comes from conviction. That's why so many people fold when life gets hard. They think strength is about having an easy path, about everything lining up perfectly, about doors swinging wide open. But let me tell you, comfort never made anybody great. Comfort never built warriors. Comfort never prepared anybody to stand tall when the storm hit. Comfort makes you soft, but conviction makes you strong. Conviction is that thing deep inside that says, I will not stop. I will not quit. I will not back down. The reason some of you feel like you keep breaking is because you've been living off commitment instead of conviction. Commitment says, as long as it feels good, I'm in. As long as it's easy, I'll keep going. As long as I see results, I'll keep trying. But conviction says, even if I fail, I'll show up. Even if I hurt, I'll keep walking. Even if it costs me everything, I'm not backing out. That's the difference. Comfort looks for an exit when it gets tough. Conviction locks the door and says, I'm not leaving until I get what I came for. See, life is going to check you. Life is going to ask, how bad do you want it? And if you're only in it for the convenience, you'll quit the moment it costs you something. But if you're in it because you know you were born for it, if you're in it because your soul refuses to settle, if you're in it because you know your purpose is bigger than your pain, then nothing can break you. That's what makes you resilient. That's what makes you dangerous. Because people can't understand how you keep going after everything you've lost. They don't get how you're still fighting after every setback. But what they don't realize is you're not fueled by comfort. You're fueled by conviction. You've got to get to a place where your why is stronger than your wounds, when your vision is bigger than your valley, when your purpose outweighs your problems, when your dream is worth more than your disappointment, then you become unstoppable. That's why I tell people, stop chasing easy. Easy doesn't build anything. If you want resilience, if you want strength, if you want to be unbreakable, you've got to anchor yourself in something deeper than your feelings, because feelings will betray you. Feelings will lie to you. Feelings will have you quitting on something you were born to do just because today feels heavy. But conviction won't let you stop. Conviction tells you, I don't care what it feels like. I know what I was created for. And I refuse to stop until I see it through. Let me give you the truth. When you build your life on comfort, you're building on sand. The first storm that comes will wash it all away. But when you build on conviction, you're building on rock. The winds can blow, the rain can pour, the waves can crash, but you will not fall. That's why people can't break you when you've got conviction, because conviction is unshakable. Conviction is unmovable. Conviction doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for conditions. It doesn't need applause. Conviction just says, I will. And that's the thing. You've got to stop living for convenience and start living from conviction. Because convenience is temporary, but conviction is eternal. Convenience says, I'll take the path of least resistance. Conviction says, I'll walk through the fire if that's what it takes. Convenience quits when it's tired. Conviction pushes even when it's exhausted. Convenience complains when it hurts. Conviction shouts, bring it on, because I know what I'm fighting for. Look, resilience isn't about never falling down. Resilience is about getting back up every single time, because you're convinced that where you're going is worth the fight. And that only comes from conviction. If you don't have conviction, the first fall will keep you down. But if you do, it doesn't matter how many times you hit the ground. You'll rise again, because conviction won't let you stay down. Conviction whispers in your ear, this isn't the end. Get up, keep moving. You've got more in you. Some of you have been asking life for it to be easier. Stop that. Don't ask for easy. Ask for endurance. Don't ask for less pressure. Ask for stronger shoulders. Don't ask for lighter loads. Ask for deeper conviction, because easy won't grow you. Easy won't prepare you. Easy won't teach you how to survive when everything falls apart. But conviction will carry you through fire and flood, through rejection and betrayal, through loss and heartbreak, and still keep you standing tall when the smoke clears. You've got to decide, am I chasing comfort or am I building conviction? Because one will break you and the other will make you. One will keep you small, the other will stretch you. One will have you giving up halfway. The other will keep you running until you cross the line. And I promise you, the ones who change the world, the ones who leave a legacy, the ones who live unbreakable lives. They don't live for comfort. They live from conviction. And here's the powerful thing about conviction. Once you've got it, nobody can take it from you. People can criticize you, but they can't kill your conviction. People can walk out on you, but they can't walk out with your conviction. Life can strip you of everything, but it cannot strip you of what's inside. Conviction is yours, and as long as you keep it burning, nothing can break you. So when the storm comes, and it will, don't hide, stand tall. When life hits you, don't fold, plant your feet. When the world doubts you, don't shrink, rise higher. Because resilience doesn't come from wishing life was easier. It comes from standing firm in your conviction when life gets harder. And that's why nobody can break you, not critics. No one can break what you refuse to surrender. That's the truth most people don't want to face, because it means the real battle isn't out there. It's in here. Life will try to convince you that it has the power to destroy you. But the reality is life can only take what you hand over. It can strip you of your possessions. It can take people from your circle. It can even knock you down to your knees. But it cannot touch your spirit unless you let it. The moment you decide, I will not surrender who I am. I will not surrender my fight. I will not surrender my belief in my future. That's the moment you become unbreakable. Some of you are living like victims of what was taken from you. You're walking around broken, not because they had the power to break you, but because you gave them permission to. You surrendered your peace to their words. You surrendered your strength to their rejection. You surrendered your hope to your circumstances. But listen to me, when you stop giving people pain and problems the authority to define you, they lose their power over you. Nobody can break what you refuse to hand over. I need you to understand this. Resilience is not about what happens to you. It's about what you decide to do with it. Two people can go through the same fire. One comes out bitter. The other comes out better. Two people can face the same loss. One crumbles, the other rebuilds. The difference is not in the fire, not in the loss, not in the pain. The difference is in the choice. And the choice is yours. You get to decide whether you surrender your spirit or whether you keep it locked down, unshakable, untouchable. There's a power in refusing to surrender that the world can't understand. Not critics. It's when people look at you and think, how are they still standing after everything they've been through? They can't explain it because they thought the betrayal would break you. They thought the loss would bury you. They thought the failure would finish you. But here you are, still standing, still breathing, still moving, still fighting, because you refuse to surrender. That's where your strength lies. See, the enemy's greatest weapon is not the blow he throws at you. It's convincing you to surrender after the blow. Because the hit doesn't destroy you, quitting does. The rejection doesn't break you, giving up afterward does. The loss doesn't define you. What defines you is whether you chose to get back up or lay down and die. And I need you to recognize that as long as you keep your spirit intact, as long as you refuse to surrender, you remain undefeated. Think about it. History doesn't remember the people who surrendered. History remembers the ones who stood their ground, no matter how much was taken from them. It remembers the ones who were beaten, chained, rejected, laughed at, but refused to bow. It remembers the ones who had nothing left but their will, and that will make them legends. That same power is inside of you right now. And the moment you say, take what you want, strip what you will, but you can't have my spirit, you can't have my fight, you can't have my faith. That's the moment you step into unbreakable territory. Some of you are giving up too easily. The first no you hear, you surrender. The first setback you face, you surrender. The first storm that comes, you surrender. But you don't realize you're giving away power that was never supposed to leave your hands. You're surrendering strength that was meant to stay with you. You're letting the world dictate your worth, your future, your destiny, when it doesn't have the authority to. And it only has that authority if you hand it over. You've got to get stubborn about your life, stubborn about your purpose, stubborn about your dreams. You've got to have that spirit that says, I don't care how many times I fall, I'm not giving this up. I don't care how many people doubt me, I'm not surrendering my vision. I don't care how long it takes, I'm not quitting until I get there. That's the mindset that builds unbreakable men and women. Not the ones who never face loss, but the ones who face loss and keep moving. Not the ones who never feel pain, but the ones who take the pain and turn it into fuel. Not the ones who never fall, but the ones who refuse to surrender their spirit on the ground. And listen, refusing to surrender doesn't mean you don't cry. It doesn't mean you don't hurt. It doesn't mean you don't feel the weight of what's happening to you. It means that in the middle of your tears, you keep going. In the middle of your heartbreak, you keep moving. In the middle of your doubts, you still hold on to that piece of you that says, I will not give up. That's what makes you unbreakable. Not that you don't feel pain, but that you don't surrender to it. The strongest people aren't the ones who look untouched by life. The strongest people are the ones who've been touched by everything, hit from every side, wounded in every way, and still refuse to give up who they are. That's power. That's resilience. That's unbreakable. And that's what's in you. So don't you dare hand your power over to people who don't deserve it. Don't you dare surrender your worth to people who couldn't see it. Don't you dare surrender your future to circumstances that can change tomorrow. You've got to stand tall and declare, this is mine. My spirit, my fight, my purpose. It belongs to me, not critics. And I'm not surrendering it. Because as long as you refuse to surrender, you'll always rise. As long as you refuse to surrender, you'll always find a way. As long as you refuse to surrender, nothing, no pain, no person, no problem can ever break you. Do you want me to stitch all 4 expanded key points into one complete flowing master speech so you can deliver or upload it as a single seamless motivational piece?